Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
In this video, we will be removing the steering wheel back cover trim piece on a 2008 Subaru Outback. If you need parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. We're going to disconnect the battery. We're going to use a 10mm wrench. Disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. Loosen this up, twist it back and forth, pull that out of the way. We're going to remove the airbag. You want to make sure your steering wheel is centered. And then we're going to take a T30 and an extension and a ratchet. And there's a little T30 bolt in there. You're going to want to get in there and loosen it up. Subaru recommends that when you disconnect the battery, you wait 20 seconds before doing any work on the airbag system. And then the same on the other side. Now we'll grab our airbag, twist up, disconnect this connector. I'm going to use a right angle pick and pry up underneath. Set that out of the way. Then we're going to disconnect these airbag connectors. Take the pick, go right under here, under the lock. And I can pry up under here and it'll come right out. Being careful not to break the lock. And then pry that right out. Then we can put our airbag aside. Make sure you set it down like that with the emblem facing up. We're going to disconnect this electrical connector. We're going to take and squeeze this little button here. It may be difficult, so I'm going to use a little pick. Give me a hand and then pull it out. So right there, you want to push down on that. And it can come out and go to the side. Before we disconnect, take off the nut, we are going to mark it with a felt tip marker because this is not keyed. So you want to make a mark on where it was. And with a 17mm socket, extension and a ratchet, you're going to take off this nut, break it free, and then once it's free, you should be able to loosen up. Make sure that steering wheel is straight still. Before I take the nut off, I'm going to wiggle the steering wheel a little bit. That way the steering wheel will not hit you in the face. And you pull it off. Now we can take our nut off completely. And I'll just take the felt tip marker again and just make this line a little bit better so that it lines up. Then we can pull our steering wheel off. Keep in mind that you do not want this clock spring to spin. If it spins on its own and does not get indexed properly, it will break. So just make sure that doesn't spin when you pull the steering wheel off. Now we're gonna remove this back steering wheel trim cover. There's two Phillips head screws right here. We'll use a Phillips head screwdriver. Take those out. And then there's two clips right here. You can pull those to the side and push it back. And that will come right off. And this is what holds the fasteners for the airbag in the back here. So make sure those stay in there when you put it back together. Now we're going to install the steering wheel back cover, back trim cover, and we're going to slide these two clips in down below, just like that. Make sure you have the wiring harness on the inside, right here. And we're going to take our Phillips head screws, tighten that one in, take the other Phillips head screw, Tighten that one down. Now we're gonna feed these wires through the steering wheel here. Remember, line the steering wheel up with your marks. You don't want the steering wheel to be crooked while you're driving it. So that will be good. And we can plug this connector back in right here, like that. Next we'll install our nut. We're going to use a 17mm socket and extension and our torque wrench. We're going to torque this to 28 foot-pounds. You're going to have to hold the wheel while you're torquing it. You're going to grab your airbag. We'll connect these airbag connectors first. Connect the black one to the black and then push down the lock. And the orange one to the orange. Push down the lock. And we'll connect this connector right there. And we'll slide the airbag down. And we're gonna tighten these Torx, the T30 Torx screws. We'll snug that up. Do the same for the other side. Snug that up. Then we can reconnect our battery. And take a 10mm wrench, tighten it up. I'm going to take and just wiggle the negative terminal and make sure that's good.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.